In this lesson, we are going to be talking about order of operations, a little bit of problem solving, which means some word problems. So what are order of operations? Order of operations are Pemdas. Probably many of you have seen and heard about this, but we're going to do things within parentheses first. And then after that, we're going to look to see if there's any exponents that we need to take care of. And then we're going to clump multiplying and dividing together. We're always going to do those from left to right. So if division comes before multiplication, because it's further left, we're going to do it like we're reading a sentence basically. So they're really not multiply then divide, it's really multiply or divide, okay, whichever kind of comes first. And then adding, subtracting is totally the same way. So we're going to do some evaluation problems. So we have parentheses on this one, but there's nothing to do within the parentheses. So we don't have to worry about that. There are no exponents, but we do have multiplying, right? That is 3 times 3. So we're going to take care of that piece first. So 3 times 3 is 9. So that turns into 15 minus 9. And 15 minus 9 is 6. All right. So let's go on to a couple others. So if we have, move this down a little bit. If we have this type of problem, right, we got a couple things going on. So if we're doing Pemdas, not enough space there. Okay, so that's what we're looking to do. So Pemdas, we have this fraction. So this fraction is actually a division problem, okay? But we do have multiplication. So we'll take care of the multiplication first. All right, so 3 times 6 is 18. And the only reason I'm doing the multiplication before I'm doing the division is because it's just further to the left. So that's 18 plus the fraction. All right, so we've taken care of that piece. Now we're kind of dealing with the fraction here. Now this fraction does have something we need to take care of on the top. So we're going to do the 4 plus 11. So that's going to be 18 plus 4 plus 11 is 15 divided by 3. And then we'll take care of the division. So 15 divided by 3 is 5. So you're looking at 18 plus 5, which adds up to 23. Okay. And then if we go over to this one, we have this square root piece. That square root has an operation on the inside that's kind of like parentheses. So parentheses, anything within that square root, we're going to want to take care of first. All right, so we're going to want to do 22 minus 5. So let's hold off on the 3.2 squared plus 25 minus, or 21 minus 5 is 16. So we have the square root of 16, and whatever that is will be eventually multiplied by 2. So the square root of 16, if you don't already know, we can throw that in the calculator, but the square root of 16 is 4, because 4 times 4. So then that is 3.2 squared plus 4 times 2. All right, now we do have an exponent, and it's kind of like we can work this piece separate and this piece kind of at the same time if you want to, because you have this addition that's separating them. But I'll just kind of work one piece at a time. So we did the square root of 16. We're now going to do the 3.2 squared. The 3.2 squared is something I would throw in a calculator, and that's getting me a 10.24 plus the 4 times 2. We'll do the 4 times 2 next. So that's 10.24 plus 8. And then if you're going to add 10.24 plus 8, you're going to get 18.24. All right, so if you're struggling getting some of these things wrong, it's because you're trying to probably do too many steps at a time. Just take your time and do one step at a time. All right, so next kind of chunk of things are a little bit of the problem solving, which are some word problems. On this thing, we are looking to find the perimeter. Now, the reason it's in this order of operations is because there's a formula for finding the perimeter. But I don't do much with perimeter and formulas. because perimeter, all perimeter is just add the sides together. And so you have a parallelogram, which means if this side's 8, this side across from it's 8. If this is 16, this is 16. So I look at it as perimeter is 8 plus 16 plus 8 plus 16. It's just me adding up all the sides. So if I throw that onto the calculator, I get my perimeter to be 48 inches. All right. So like I said, there are formulas, but why complicate it? All you're doing is just adding pieces together on that, adding all the sides. All right, so you have a carpet installer a carpet installer is carpeting a room measuring 16 feet by 20 feet. So the purple represents that. It's a good carpet color. Projecting out from one of the walls is the fireplace whose hearth. So that's kind of like that big old rock section in front of it to kind of, I guess back in the day, keep sparks from landing onto your carpet. It would land on the hearth if you didn't have anything to stop the fire. You didn't have a mesh or anything like that. Whose hearth measures 3 feet by 6 feet. Okay, so we're not going to carpet that. So we'd like to know how many square feet of carpet does the installer require for the job. Okay, so we are going to find the area of the whole thing, and then we're going to cut out the hearth. So the reality is that we're going to buy carpet for the whole thing, and then what we have to cut out for the hearth is going to be our waste. Okay, so we're talking about area. And your area for rectangle is length times width. So for our carpet, we're going to need to purchase carpet that is minimal 16 feet, 16 by 20. Okay, that is your length times your width. The order of that does not matter. So our carpet is 16 times 20. If you throw that in the calculator, you're going to get 320. Now, how do you label an area? Basically, it's a feet times feet. So it's so many square feet. Also, you can write that as, so feet squared is also the same thing as square feet. Basically the same idea. So that is how much carpet you needed to purchase. And then we're going to have to take away from that. So you can't buy carpet with a little notch out of it. You're going to buy the whole thing. In fact, you'll probably buy more than that, just the way they have to lay it and put the seams together and all of that. So there's almost always more waste than just cutting out one tiny little piece. But if we could buy a piece that's perfectly exactly that dimension, that's how much we would need to buy. And then our waste, which is the hearth, that is 3 feet by 6 feet. So we're looking at a waste of 18 square feet. What can you do? All right. And then we got two more. So we're finding the volume of a cube. So if you remember with the volume of a cube, any kind of a box shape, that your volume equals length times width times height. So if you're looking for that, these are the dimensions. We have length times width times height. So there's your height, there could be your width, and then how deep it is your length. Now it's a cube, that's why all the values are exactly the same, is only because it's a cube, but that's what we got. So we're looking at the volume equals 7.5 times 7.5 times 7.5. And I would just throw that right into the calculator. In fact, I could just throw it into the calculator as 7.5 cubed if I save a little time. And if I throw it on the calculator, I'm going to get 421.875. Now there weren't any directions on how to round it, so I'm just going to use the whole thing because it stopped after the 5. And then label to this, anytime you're talking about a volume, you're talking about a cubic measurement. Okay, it's a space kind of a thing. So you have centimeters cubed. So it basically means there's 421 little cubes that are 1 centimeter by 1 centimeter by 1 centimeter that would fit within that box. All right, and then last one. We have Carly needs to ship 75 crystal vases with standard packaging, packing to prevent damage. 5 vases fit in each available box. Okay, so how many boxes are required to pack the vases? So we have 78, and we can fit 5 vases per box. So we're looking at doing 78 divided by 5. If we throw that in the calculator, we are going to get 15.6. Well, you can't buy 0.6 of a case, so you're going to need to round that up. Even if it was 15.1, I know the rounding rules would say that the 6 bumps this up, which I agree. But even if it was 15.1, you can't buy 0.1 of a case. So no matter what this is kind of a weird rounding where no matter what, you're going to have to round up. Okay, so that's going to convert into 16 cases or boxes. Okay, and that is it.